Hey, this is Lissa Duty, and we're on Blab right now. We're going to have a few people joining us in just a few minutes. We're going to be talking about YouTube Red. I have a few guests joining me. We got Byron Ingram in now. Come on in, Byron.
Hey, good morning.
Good morning. So what do you think about the YouTube Red, Byron? What do you think about it?
I think it's interesting.
It's really... I was surprised a little bit to see Facebook roll it out. What do you think?
Well, in terms of YouTube rolling out, you mean?
Yeah, I meant YouTube. Hey, you know me, I got Facebook on the brain.
Yeah, you live on Facebook. If someone said you couldn't access Facebook for a day, that probably wouldn't be very pleasant.
I'm actually posting on Facebook right now about joining us on the Blab. Is that not hilarious?
That is funny.
So what are you thinking? Were you surprised when you heard the announcement?
No, not at all. And do you enjoy the background that's behind me at the moment?
I do like the view. Where are you at? I'm
in Los Angeles right now.
That's pretty.
I'm sitting outside the LA Convention Center, and like right over here behind me, over here this way, that's the Staples Center where you have the Clippers and the Lakers play.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
And it's nice and sunny and warm. It's great.
Are you making any video while you're there, Byron?
Possibly.
It sounds about like you.
Yeah, a little bit intrigue and mystery. So my thoughts about YouTube Red, it's something that it was bound to happen because if you look at the different services, you have everything from Pandora to Apple Music and Spotify, all these services that have music videos to them, like in terms of streaming music. But if you look at YouTube, it's really been around the longest in terms of having a platform available for people to listen to music. But the problem was that every time you wanted to listen to any type of a song, you had to listen to an ad first. And some people, they just didn't want to do that. So it made total sense that now you can be able to listen to videos, any video you want, without having any type of an ad interrupting you. So think about that. How many people love to watch videos? You look at the Justin Bieber's and so forth, where people have billions of video views. But now people can watch them without worrying that, oh, look, here's an ad popping up in the middle of in terms of their experience. But not only that, now you can get people that can watch videos offline. So if you think about it from a different perspective, now that people can start saving the videos they want to watch to save them for later versus the only other time they could do it is they had to have that active connection. So now, like, say you're going to go on a business trip and you wanted to watch content, now you're not tethered to a connection the whole time.
We have someone on chat talking about how contributors are complaining about YouTube not paying contributors enough, and now they're going to be monetizing their videos. What are you thinking about that?
Well, it's that whole process that at the end of the day, when you're talking about monetization, that you have to think differently. So in terms of that bigger picture, the video itself, that's a monetization method. It's a tool to get your message out there. So ultimately, you want to be using a video to drive people to take an action. So if you're only relying on trying to use the video, you're just going to pay me so much per view. Well, why not look at what's the back end? What are you going to be selling there? Because that's where your real money is made. If you're just following that one thing, you have a long ways to go in terms of generating video views.
Yeah, you're right about that. John joined us. John's here with us. John, what do you think about, because I know you're like a videoaholic. What do you think about this?
Can y'all hear me okay?
A little bit of it.
Yeah, a little bit louder, John.
A little bit louder. Let me move my mic up. There we go.
So I think one of the things that I'm seeing right now is that we're going to have a little bit of conflict with cost. I mean, because YouTube's looking at just $10 to get commercial-free content. We're already paying, $8.95 or something like that for Netflix. And there's so many other services that are cheaper. But at the same time, if we want to sit around and watch all the cute cat videos, you're not able to do that with things like Netflix and so forth. I think maybe for some of the younger generation, the 20s and 30s group that do just live on YouTube, I think it's going to be a no-brainer for them.
Oh, totally. If you think about it from that perspective, if you look at what they're having, they're going to start having original content. So they're expanding their presence online to achieve more. So if they're going to have that, now they're going to be able to compete with the likes of Netflix, so it's Hulu, and so on, for that audience that they want something that's different than on your typical major broadcast networks.
You're right about that. I'm having some difficulty getting it so I can see all the chat discussion with my computer laid out. I have to admit, this is the first time I've actually officially had a blab here, Byron, so I'm still working out the technology.
Oh, hey, look at it this way. I'm doing this from sitting here in sunny LA outside the LA Convention Center. So this is awesome.
It's pretty cool. One thing that I see thinking about the younger generation, because so many of them, even John's mentioned this to me, his kids, they watch all the Disney stuff. And they get all their videos from YouTube. So I can see kids nagging their parents wanting to upgrade the account.
Right, exactly. So, that's what I think they're counting on, is that with the content they put out, they're going to attract the people that they live on YouTube for content. So now they can enhance their experience without having to watch a ton of ads.
What do you think about the for business owners? I've been thinking since I've read this, I've thought, business owners could have these, make their channels not private, but in a way kind of be private, where they're really starting to put out these longer videos educating their customers, and now they get to watch them ad free, and they can download them and save them for later. I mean, I think that's a total win.
Well, you have to remember that right now, a business, they can have their content showing on YouTube without ads in the first place.
Yes, you can. Yeah, you can. You're right about that.
So there's nothing that stops them from having longer videos out there that are educating people about what they are doing in their business.
Yeah, you're right.
Right.
They can do longer, and they can do. It's interesting to me, and I really want to see how business owners are going to start being able to leverage this more and more, because I know they will. There's going to be a way that we can, just like with, Meerkat, and right now we're using Blab and Periscope, and, Facebook now has the live for mentions. It's going to be interesting seeing how people start leveraging this over the coming coming months.
Right. Oh, yeah, definitely.
Well, how about from the advertiser's perspective? I mean, are there going to be some new features there that advertisers are going to be able to eventually get into this as, I don't know, some kind of an ad or something that runs into?
Well, you have to think about it, though. The whole thing is about making it an ad-free experience, because that's meeting the demands of the community. So you have to look at it from a larger perspective. You're only going to have so many people that are going to be paying for that type of privilege. But the masses are still going to be exposed to ads. So in terms of the big picture, is it really going to hurt a lot of people? Maybe a little bit, but overall, it's going to be a minor impact in terms of your advertisers wanting to reach an audience. But then what it's going to come down to is, let's say that YouTube's going to have more original programming. For your larger types of companies, that can open up the opportunity for the product placements and things.
Right.
So that's where it can make a difference.
Yeah, that's true. So it'll be interesting to see what happens.
Totally.
This is going to be an interesting venture for YouTube in this situation. And I'm also kind of curious about the naming of this. I mean, because we've already got what was it, Project Red, that Apple was associated with, and Bono and all of that we're doing. And Lissa's saying that we've got some, technical difficulties. I mean, she's showing down here as being an open seat, and she's out of the meeting.
Yeah, she just has to click and join it again. That's all.
You got to join it again, Lissa. So
that's right. Yes, you can be able to tell her how to do this with a simple, hey, do this.
If we want to see Lissa, we'll have to, do this.
Right.
Okay.
So I think there's some association with Project Red with the naming of this, or why are they using the name Red, or if it's just strictly because of YouTube's color is red.
Probably just a simple. It's their color, so it makes it an easy way to market and promote it.
Right.
Yeah.
Can y'all see me now?
Yeah, welcome back.
Yes.
Sorry about that, guys. You know, I'm trying to get all this technology set up the way so y'all can actually see me instead of my shirt, my stomach, my arm,
right. Oh,
all these body parts. Yeah. So I'm looking at Search Talk Live, and they're in their chat talking about how the contributors, a lot of them are complaining. Right. What do you see as that? John, can you grab that door?
Yeah.
I think that John and I, for those that are listening right now, we actually co-office at the branding team at Advice. Byron, did you realize that?
Yes.
And so that's the weird layout when you saw John a minute ago and everything. We're disrupting the people outside, so we shut the door. Anyway, I do think it's interesting. I do think some of the contributors are going to have some complaints about it. I haven't thought about it from that perspective for myself. Looks like we have Steve wanting to join us. Steve Payne. Let's see what Steve has to say. He's going to come in on the video.
Okay.
Hi, guys.
Hey, Steve.
Hi, welcome.
So what are your thoughts?
Well, are we all YouTube video makers here then?
Oh, definitely.
Super.
I would say Byron makes video a lot more than me for YouTube. I do make some to promote certain causes, but I wouldn't say I'm a YouTuber.
Oh, yeah. Well, I have 3 channels, and it is one of the pots of income. I can't say it makes a living for me, but it does bring in income. And I joined in because, number one, it's a passion of mine. Number 2, Search Talk Live was making some interesting points in the sidebar.
Yeah, I'm glad you joined us to give us some thoughts as someone that really YouTubes all the time, and you're using it to monetize. How's it? What are your thoughts?
My thoughts are that the subjects that, unless you're already famous and the people are joining you for you, you know, the only thing that's going to get people to look at your videos is if the content is useful to them. They don't really care about you, but if you can solve a problem for them. Therefore, so one of the approaches I take is I look at a specific problem and answer it, okay? And my style is not to really waffle, it's just to get to the point. And then if in that subject area that you can answer, say, 2 or more questions for them, then the chance of them subscribing and coming back for more increases. So from a content point of view, that's one of the strategies I've been following. But I have to say that, and this is a very important point I'm about to make here, the subject matter that you choose to talk about is one of the biggest, most important decisions you're going to make on YouTube. Yeah?
Yeah, absolutely.
Right, definitely.
Yeah. If you talk about something that other people aren't searching on, then you're doomed.
Exactly.
Yeah.
How do you see it as far as affecting your monetizing with adding the YouTube Red feature for the paid subscribers where you don't get the ads and stuff? Do you see that affecting you really?
I don't know what that is. YouTube Red, is that something new?
Yes. YouTube Red, they just rolled out, and it launches on October 28th. They just rolled out a premium service that's $9.99 a month, and it's like an ad-free network.
Oh, wow.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow.
And so that's what Search Talk Live is really chatting about, is how a lot of the contributors are really upset about this because they also contribute for the ad value.
Right. So then that changes that. I mean, that's horrible for me. And but now look at what YouTube does for you. Are you doing it to make money from the content? I don't think so, because most of us, unless you're getting really big channels, you're only making pocket money or something that helps you, you know? John's smiling there. So.
I'm smiling at Byron.
Yeah, Byron's having fun. He's actually in California walking around outside doing this blab. I called him up and said, let's talk about YouTube Red, Byron.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so my point being that if you're not going to make a living from the content, if the subject is something that other people value, you might make a living through the clients that you attract through your content. Yeah. And that is whether that's in the offline world or the online world. So I do all right in the offline world, thanks to what I make in the online world.
Well,
so
and that's that's, why I use YouTube. For example, I'm host of a conference, Rocks Digital, and we'll make a promotional video that shows the highlights from the last year's. And currently on the Rocks Digital channel, I've only uploaded one so far. I actually just created the Rocks Digital channel. Prior to that, I just had my own Lissa Duty channel. But we actually have excerpts from the speakers at the conference, which we're going to upload. But again, that's to share knowledge, just like you're saying, Steve. But at the same time, it's also to get people to want to come to the conference the next year.
Okay, so my point that I'd love to talk about this more, but you can see my counter's going down. I've got 9 seconds left. So, so all I want to say is that if you're going to supply content of that fashion, then you might want to repurpose that and split it up to answer specific questions that people are searching on, because that will give you the long tail of people coming back to you years later. I'm getting views 5 years later from stuff that I've created simply because it answers a question.
That's an awesome point. Well, thank you for popping in. Have a great day.
Nice to see you guys. See you again. I followed you all, by the way.
Oh, great. We'll follow you back. Bye-bye. So, Byron, what did you think about what Steve was saying?
It's important. It's just, it's always been the philosophy, if you're not a celebrity, but you have to produce content that people are wanting to consume. And then it's driving them to that offline offer. So for your typical business owner, you look at the clients that you're serving, it's going to be the same strategy as always. The YouTube brand that's really designed for entertainment. For business owners, should not impact them at all.
Right.
Yeah, I think you're right about that. One thing I would like to do, though, I'm really going to be thinking about how we can leverage this, John. So challenge me so how can we, for the people that are subscribing to the ad-free stuff, which I know we can still put up the ad-free stuff, but even more, I want to think about how I can leverage this and add more value for the Rocks Digital listeners. I'm going to keep thinking about it. I'm sure YouTube is going to keep rolling out a bunch of changes. Ooh, I like your view, Byron.
Oh, yeah, that's what I'm looking at right now. Like, it's great stuff.
Search Talk Live was chatting, saying that they're a little jealous that they like your views. So,
yeah, your view is definitely better than what we've got in Dallas today. We're in the middle of monsoon season here.
That's what I hear.
They're predicting 6 to 8 inches of rain in the next 36 hours or so. It's crazy.
Even some of the planes are.
And if this makes it any better, if you can see up there now, like you have some little palm trees, and look, it's a blue sky.
You're wrong. You're so wrong. So, Search Talk Live, where are you coming to us from?
I'm in LA right now.
No, I meant Search Talk Live. They're chatting. I wonder where they're at.
Oh, they're in Orlando.
Oh, you got a nice view then. And we have Heath on the chat now too. So we have somebody else wanting to join us. I'm not familiar with this person. I'm going to check out their Twitter ID real fast before I approve them. I actually think we're about to wrap up here. What are you thinking, Byron?
Yeah, I have to get back inside here. Just step outside for a few minutes.
Well, I appreciate you joining us, and we need to do this again. John and I have been
definitely.
We want to do this and start talking when they're announcing new news on a regular basis. So I'm glad you're available to join us, and you have an awesome day, Byron.
Thanks, and stay dry. I'll enjoy this warm weather for you.
Okay.
Yeah, thanks, Byron.
Thank you.
All right, catch you later.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
So I think another interesting thing, just from the content consumption side of things, Lissa, is just thinking about how I interface with YouTube. I subscribe to a ton of YouTube channels, and a bunch of those are starting to get the ads into their feeds. And I have to ask myself, is it worth $10 a month to subscribe to not having those commercials there? Because I'll pick on the Weather Channel. I mentioned this to you earlier. Whenever I go in and watch the content that the videos that weather.com has on their site, I'm getting hit with the outdoor clothing manufacturer hitting you with one ad after another. And it's the same exact ad for all 10 videos that I'm going to watch on their site. You know, to me, yeah, it's totally worth it to pay $10 to not have the ad shoved in my face like that.
Yeah, especially since you watch it all the time. Well, let's get out of here. Thanks everybody for joining us on the chat. I have and of course we're going to follow you, Search Talk Live. It's been great to chat with you, and maybe you'll join us on some more blabs and stream some video for us sometime soon. Y'all have a great day, and thanks for joining in.